we now have a breakout of the different suites that are available on point. So on this hotel for these dates, it's not just the big Sur suite that's available for 66,000 points. There's also the ultra premium suites, the spa suite, and the forest shower suite that are available for 90,000 points each as well.
Hey there, points people! You just heard a clip from John Taylor Garner from Odin and Aways. John is the founder of Aways, which is one of my favorite tools for finding hard to get hotel redemptions at properties like Alila Ventana Big Sur and Park Hyatt Kyoto. In this episode, expect to hear about how you can use Aways to find the best points deals for hotels quickly, how to see exactly which types of rooms are available on points versus cash, new features that allow you to find flight deals, and so much more. And if you are in the market for a new card to earn points so that you can travel like John, check out geobreezetravel.com/cards. And if you're not sure what card is right for you, I offer free credit card consultations at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. And if you're looking for help with how to redeem your points, submit a request for a free personalized tutorial on geobreezetravel.com/request. We pick one of these award search requests to prepare every week for free and post it in the GeoBreeze Travel newsletter, which is also free. And now, on with the show. Welcome to the GeoBreeze Travel Podcast, a show for anyone wanting to level up their travel hacking lifestyle. I'm your host, Julia Menez. I'm a travel hacker, coach, speaker, Filipino-American ENTJ who loves solid travel gear and using shortcuts on spreadsheets. On this show, I'm on a mission to bring you travel hackers from all walks of life to help you level up your travel hacking game. We dive into credit cards, miles, points, strategy, mindset, and the secrets behind how to travel the world for next to no cost. So let's get hacking. Hey, John, welcome back to the GeoBreeze Travel Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you back and excited to learn about some of the new features that we have going on with Aways. For anybody who has not yet seen your first episode on the podcast, we'll link to it here. But give us a quick overview of what is Aways and how did it come to be and how has it kind of changed over the last year, 2 years? I don't even remember when we had you on the show.
Yeah, I think, God, I had to been in, I think, the spring of 23, almost a year and a half now. Things have evolved quite a bit. So we finished our coverage of the major hotel chains. I think that was done sometime in July or August of the summer last year. So we now have every major hotel chain provided by all the major credit cards here in the US, including Wells Fargo. Now that they've entered the ring, that's definitely changed since we were last here. So Choice, Wyndham, Accor have been added. So we cover every one of their properties around the globe, including their partner properties, like Hyatt obviously acquired Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We have those hotels in there. SLH is now part of Hilton. They're not acquired; they're it's a partnership. So we have those in there. So on and so forth. You get the idea. And then we added in flights starting at the beginning of this year. So flights were added in, I think, January. We didn't publicly roll them out until February, give or take. And now we've pretty decent coverage on flights. I think we have at least 11, if not 12 airline partners in there. So happy to show you that. And then starting in, I think it was June is when we officially announced it. We partnered and launched our partnership with Duffel on the back end. What Duffel is, they're a travel booking customer service flow engine. And so we use them and we've plugged them into our Aways platforms. Now we have what we're calling is the world's first truly holistic travel portal. So I mean by that is we not only have what we offered before, which is points and miles pricing for all the airlines and hotels, as well as cash pricing side by side, but we also now allow users to fully book any of their tickets if they want to in cash. Obviously, if they're booking points and miles, we still direct the users on how to use them, right, to go to the various programs to book. But not everybody has enough points and miles to book their entire trip on points and miles, right? A lot of the time you have to book some portion in cash, be it the hotel or the flight. And so we now allow for that. The great thing about Duffel, which is unique from all other players, is that we can get supplier direct pricing and booking. So when users book through Aways, if they select that supplier direct offering, which on the hotel side is Travelport is the provider for that. On airline side, you'll see that directly. It's everything on the airline side is fully covered. Users will not only be able to earn their elite nights and earn their points, they'll also be able to use the benefits of their status on their stay. These are things that do not happen if you book via Booking.com or Expedia. So we are very different in that respect. So we now have that. We've been running that since June. So a whole bunch has been added since we last chatted.
Let's walk through some of these. I'll go ahead and share my screen because I mostly use Aways whenever for like clients or course students or hey, the best way to find hotel availability and what are the best hotels and the best way to maximize points for a particular city. There's lots of use cases for this. So let's say that somebody wanted to go to London around Christmas time. So London, greater London area, you can just type in a city or a specific hotel, which we'll do next. And let's just say you wanted to go for the night of Christmas. You can go ahead and click search. Okay, so now that this is with all the hotel chains, a lot of times people just want to do Hyatt hotels or just Hilton hotels, just IHG, just Marriott. So you can actually filter on the brand that you want, but we do have Accor and Choice and Wyndham in here as well. And I like that you guys will say whether it's better to use points or cash for a particular hotel, and it just highlights it nicely for you. For Park Tower, Knightsbridge, use cash because it's better than points. For the Holiday in London, that one's better as a points price. JW Marriott, that one's going to be better as a points price. So it just makes it really easy so you don't have to do all the math. I know that on the channel and in the different YouTube tutorials, we go over here's how to calculate cents per point and everything, but people don't like doing math. It's nice that it's just highlighted for you which one's going to be the better option. So that's one use case is what's the best hotels that I can get for a specific city. But another thing that people use this for a lot is finding award availability for a difficult to book hotel, especially Alila Ventana is probably the prime use case for this. If you have a specific hotel that you want to search, you can just search Alila Ventana Big Sur and then pick whatever dates that you want. So I just picked January 8th through 9th, then click search. And oh, there's actually a points availability here. I was definitely expecting it to say there was nothing. Um, yeah, 66,000 points. And so you can just click on the actual hotel, click on the blue arrow, click on award availability. And this will highlight all of the dates where there's availability and where there's not availability, and also what the points price is going to be. So most of the nights just have premium suites available if it's 90,000 points, standard suites if it's 66,000. There's not a way to just filter on maximum points prices there because if I was like, I just want standard rooms for 45,000, that's not really a thing, right?
No, but if you go in the top left corner on the one night on the calendar,
Mhm.
you can select different night ranges. As you play through that, you'll see the calendar will change results. If you go to 2 nights or 3 nights, it changes the stay. So different availability opens up because the hotel for different periods has minimum night stay requirements. And so as you're changing that, different availabilities will open up in the calendar that were not otherwise there.
Oh, good tip. Yeah, with March, we now see some that are in the beginning of March and for a weekend as well, which wasn't showing up before with you're just searching for one night at a time. That's also super useful for Hilton, IHG, Marriott, where you can get fourth night free or fifth night free. So that's a good feature as well. That's kind of how I've been using a ways is to find out either what's the best value for hotels in a particular city on a particular date if clients just need recommendations for where to stay, or if they have a specific hotel and they're like, it's not available on this date. When is it available? It's an easy way to see all the available dates. What are some other main use cases that people have been using Aways for?
We've been getting a lot of usage on the award availability alerts. If the hotel is not available for your given days, you can set an alert for that. If you close out of the calendar view here in the top right corner, there you go. If you just hit that, then it is set for the dates that you have in there. So that'll be Jan 8th to Jan 9th. And so you'll get an email as soon as it pops up and is available. The hotel such as this, upwards of 5 times a day. So you should be the first one to catch it. We do not guarantee availability. Just because we say it's available doesn't mean that somebody else can get the email at the exact same time. So there could be a rush, but generally our customers are incredibly happy about this. This is particularly critical for trying to get your fifth night free. If you're saying like the Maldives at a Hilton or a Marriott, right? Or going to Bora Bora. right? Those hotels generally are quite expensive if you're paying for all 4 nights points. So getting a fifth night free really does drive that cost down. And this means that you don't have to constantly be looking for it. You can just be notified for when those hotels do become available. Is definitely a big perk benefit for customers. So that's definitely a huge one.
For the 5th night free, if somebody was like, "I'm okay to go to the Maldives for any 5-night increment for all of December, just let me know what 5 days are available, I'll jump on it." Is there an easy way to just get a ways to alert me of that where it's like, go between December 8th and 13th?
Not yet. That is on our roadmap. We currently have that on our chatbot. So we do have that full functionality. So the tech is there. It's just not implemented on the front end. We have a giant backlog of wish lists items to add here. So that is definitively on that list. That coupled with award alerts for flights, which we have not added yet either. So yes, for sure, that will be coming in the near future. I promise.
Is there a limit to the number of availability alerts that you can set?
Great question. I think free users are capped at about 5, and premium users should now have up to 20, I believe. So you can set quite a few, and obviously you can replace them. There's no limit to how many times you replace them. You can just active at one time. I believe that number is 20. And if you run out of space, then generally 20 should cover all of your needs. That's quite a few. But if you do need more, then you will have to determine which ones you want to replace. You're not capped at 20 per month or anything like that. It's just 20 active at any one time. So technically, you could replace them multiple times a day if you wanted to. So you could set thousands in a month theoretically. Not that you would, but there's no limits on how many you set in a month.
Yeah, for that example I just said of like, okay, so I'll just go anytime in December where there's a 5-day increment. I guess you could just be like, set an alert for December 1 through 6, set an
Yeah.
alert for December 2 through 7, and then just go that way. It's a little bit more tedious, but technically, if you had like a 20-day range and you're like, give me anything that's in here, it would work out.
Yes, you totally could. And with those 20 alerts slots, you could cover vast majority of the month pretty well. So that should cover your needs. It is definitely something that we will have coming. It's just on the roadmap.
For sure. All right. So, availability alert is another popular thing. What's new in the world of a ways that people have been using as well?
So if you go to the points tab there on the Big Sur, so yeah, if you hit view again, when I come through best value, go to points, scroll down a little bit further, you'll see that we now have a breakout of the different suites that are available on points. So on this hotel for these dates, it's not just the Big Sur suite that's available for 66,000 points. There's also the ultra premium suites, the spa suite, and the forest shower suite that are available for 90,000 points each as well. So we now have that functionality in there where users not only see the base room that's available, they can see all rooms that are available for points bookings as well.
I know a common question is how can you tell which suites and which rooms will have capacity for more than 2 people? Obviously, not much of a thing in Alila Ventana Big Sur because it's adults only and you don't need to be cramming like a whole party of like 5 or 6 people into an adults only resort. I guess you could save money that way, but they don't let you do that. But for people who travel with families and children and they're like, "Hey, we're going to France." They've got real strict fire codes about the maximum capacity, but we don't want to get 2 rooms where the second one's just a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. Is there a way to search a ways to figure out which rooms have certain capacity limits and which ones you can put more than 2 people?
Great question. Right now, the answer is not yet. We will have that in the very, very near future because the beauty of us partnering with Duffel is we now do get the full inventory flow from not just the direct suppliers themselves, which contain a lot of that metadata that's very relevant. We also get it from the various OTAs that Duffel's aggregated, such as Expedia, Booking.com, and Priceline as well. Again, when a user books through that, that's not a direct booking, so you will not be earning your points and miles and all that. But when you book through our direct supplier side, then you do earn your points and miles. You elite nights, you earn your ability to use your status, all that fun stuff. So we now have that metadata and we're parsing through it to be able to assign that on a per room basis. As plenty of users may know, it's not a flawless system, even on the likes of an Expedia or Booking.com. When you're trying to sort by room and number of people in a room, it it's not always perfect. You really do have to get in fine print to guarantee it. But we hope to get at least that level of reliability that the main players have in the next few months or so. Our real focus is on this hotel booking process for customers. One another area in that regard that we don't have yet, which you'll probably be asking, is do we get member rates for the cash bookings? Not yet. That is something that we actually do get supplied via our supplier direct system, but we have no way of parsing the difference between member rate and non-member rate, except for the price difference. It still comes in as the same booking. And so as we can't tell the difference, it's impossible to pass on the correct thing to the partner because obviously you need to say that this person is a member. Here's the member ID number to pass it on. So that is the top priority because that's the number one thing that we've been asked by people is I want my member rate. Why not? Obviously, save them 10% or more on bookings. So that's number one. Number two, number of people per room. So we'll have that come in, but there's a limitation we had before that ultimately it's not something that you can get without actually supplying a booking service. If you're just doing search only, no hotels are going to give you that level of data. They have no interest because they're not making money off of you. Now they are, so we can.
Where it has all of these different available rooms, if for some reason somebody had a specific room that they wanted to book, that's a ton of data, right? There's not a way to just be like, show me all the days that have specifically the Big Sur suite available. Is that a thing?
Not yet. I think because we do have this data, that level of granularity and functionality would be able to come. Like, for example, one of my wish lists is to have the calendar view, right, filtered on suites versus not suites, right? So you could track it that way ultimately. I don't think from a search functionality out of the gate you would ever be able to do that. But we zoomed in on the hotel and said, hey, I want that. Because we do now get the pricing. We just haven't built that into the calendar yet. So that is something that we'll be able to do in the near future from that standpoint, where I only want ultra premium suites. Show me what's available for this hotel. I think that'll be the next step to getting closer. From a suite only search in the beginning, that could be fun, but has a bit of work to build.
Yeah. So when you click select and book here, it'll just take you directly onto the Hyatt site to book. Usually, what I was doing before is just checking the calendar, opening Hyatt on a new tab, but you could just click through here now and then it'll open up Hyatt and you book through there like normal. Does it pre populate all of the search from here where it'll say, okay, Alila Ventana from whatever
Yep,
dates I
that
typed in?
should. So if you click on book Hyatt, the dates that we were looking at should come through. And generally it loads a little slower than ours, just just to say. So there you go, all three rooms that we had before. It should be for the exact dates that we're looking up above. Yep, Jan 8th, Jan 9th. Yep.
Perfect.
So there you go.
All right. Let's walk through flights because that's the new thing that you guys have added recently. I've been just using a ways for hotel stuff. Do you want to share your screen to walk through the flight demo?
So I was playing around with this before we hopped on because I just learned that one of my buddies is going to Oktoberfest last minute. So I was curious to see what flights would be like if somebody wanted to go to Oktoberfest, which for those that don't know is mostly in September. It's not really October. It ends in October. So it is almost over. And looks like the cash pricing is pretty high, as you can see here. For some of these flights, one way over there is about $1,000. I mean, it's going to be close to 2,000 round trip. But there is pretty decent miles availability and pricing. See here, you can fly over to Munich with a annoying layover in Boston here, but it's only 40,000 miles on aeroplane. So you're looking at was that 2.5 cents a value per mile in economy, which my mind's pretty decent. We have, as you can see on the airline side, if you're looking at cash, we do have and support every single major airline. And this is something that is entirely new, is to be able to compare cash and miles all in one place without having to look at different areas or have your Google Flights up on one tab or what have you. So we have the full details of all the different airlines that we support, and these are all their partner airlines. And then up here are the loyalty programs that we support for booking. So if we were to just say, hey, I only care about AA miles, how can I get there? These are AA flights. These might all be AA bids. Are there any that are?
Does this highlight which option is better like you guys do with hotels? Because it has the cash price sometimes and yeah, like that top one, it has the cash price.
Yeah.
and the points price. The second one only has the points price. What is going on there?
That's correct. So some of these flights are not always available for dollar bookings. So there are some flights that are available for mileage bookings and not cash, or vice versa. Now that might seem counterintuitive because if you're looking at hotel bookings, there's not a single case in a hotel that will sell you the hotel for only points and not cash. It would never happen, right? It does happen on miles, particularly when you're looking at partners. For example, on this is a United and Lufthansa flight booked via Aeroplan, right? So Aeroplan does not sell this ticket for dollars, but you can use your Aeroplan miles for a United flight and Lufthansa flights. They will sell this as a mileage ticket. So that's why we're seeing this here. Up here, when you're seeing the dollars and the Aeroplan miles, this is for an Air Canada flight. There's dollars that you can book it on it, and there's the various tiers as you can see. There's flex, latitude, standard. Then there's the full mileage pricing.
Does it highlight which one's the better option? Because
We do
yeah,
not do
for
that. That is coming. I was hoping to have that before this meeting, but that will be hopefully later this week. It could be early next. But yes, that is the better value tag or best value tag is something I've been wanting for a while now, and it will be there. I promise. Just not yet.
how do you determine, as far as best value goes, what the threshold mathematically is? Like for Hyatt, I assume it's like around 2 cents per point or something. And then for Hilton, it's probably like around half a cent per point. How do you set those thresholds?
Great question. So we have a internal valuation system for all the points and miles that are being shot and redeemed on the platform. And so that's what drives the valuation. The way we started it is we took an aggregation of all the publicly sourced information on what major individuals view points and miles are worth, right? Award Wallet has their own pricing, the Points Guy has their own pricing, Nerd Wallet does, Frequent Miler, the list goes on, right? Everyone has their own different pricing systems. So we took all these, dumped it into our system, aggregated them, and then did our own verifications and tests as to what we thought in terms of accuracy. We honed in on this aggregate, and that was our benchmark, right? That was our starting point. And since then, every time a user is looking on our website and they decide that they want to redeem for cash or they want to redeem for points or miles, right? Either or, because we've always had cash and miles or cash and points since we've started, we are keeping track of that, right? So we know at what point somebody's saying, I want to redeem miles or cash or vice versa. So we're comparing the dollar rate to the miles rate or the dollar rate to the points rate. And then that is basically dragging the valuation one way or the other, either higher or lower, based on those number of redemptions. They're getting dragged at a very, very microscopic level. So it takes a very, very large number of redemptions for users to drag them one way or the other. And so, for example, since we added SLA's hotels from Hilton, funnily enough, Hilton hotel points have gone up in value because, as you may know, you're now getting a lot more than half a cent for Hilton point. So our Hilton variable threshold used to be at around, I think it's like 0.45 cents, so even less than half a penny. It was a little bit below. Now it's actually a little bit above half a cent for Hilton, which is quite interesting. Normally, you don't see points valuations or miles valuations go up. Normally, they go down. Yeah, so it's determined based on usage. Is this flawless? No. There are people that are going to be redeeming and making horrible redemptions on points because they're like, I don't care what the dollar value is. I just want to use all my points. Or there are some people that are like, you know what, I'm hoarding all my points. I don't care what the dollar price is. I'm going to use only dollars. Overall, in large enough volumes, quantities, because we're now at a little over 100,000 users on our platform via direct on the platform or partnerships, there's enough volume where they kind of weigh each other out. And we also keep an eye for outliers. And so we do eliminate those data points as needed.
Let's do another example. So this one was going over to Munich. Let's do an Asia example. And this one's last minute. So we usually recommend for people to search further out in the calendar year. Can we do an example of that?
Here's an example of JFK to Singapore for February 11th. I just picked a random date further out. Wanted to go to Asia. As you can see, we got a lot more programs in here this time in terms of loyalty programs. So these are six that have availability for this. Doesn't mean that we support six, right? We do have, if I go to wallet and awards and airlines, we do currently support all these airlines right now. So that is a grand total of 12. We all know that Alaska and Hawaiian are going to be merging later this month, but these are the 12 programs that we support. Just because they're not in the flights that we're looking at does not mean that they are not there. It just means that there wasn't availability for mileage. And as you can see, there's also 30 different airlines that currently fly to Singapore inside here that we are supporting, but we get the full breakdown. Ultimately, here is a good A mileage flight to Singapore via Cathay. See if we can get a points and cash pricing side by side. Looks like that is a no-go, which is rather unfortunate. Right now, the cash and the dollars are all separate. I guess it's because it's booked on partner carriers, which makes it annoying. So I'll just do it miles versus cash. But as you can see, here's a Alaska on their Korean Air partner. So if we go to cheapest cash, here is a JetBlue Singapore Air combo flight, for example, for 800 bucks. It's giving you. Oh no, wait, that's not the cheapest. Here's the cheapest. JAL. So you can fly paying American on JAL 575 576 bucks for one way, whereas the cheapest miles flight would be American on Cathay for 37,000 miles.
I know a lot of the search aggregators have trouble pulling in award space from Singapore or Cathay or Eva or any of those where you have to physically log in to get the award space. You guys are pulling in points pricing from Singapore?
Yeah, there you go. So here's a Singapore Air flight from JFK to Singapore via Frankfurt. So that's tells you saver class. So that is their lowest level of reward redemption. We're getting it for 44,000 miles.
Do a search for me. Do JFK to Singapore on July 23rd in business class.
July 23rd. Okay. Third in business.
I'm seeing it on my side on just searching Singapore manually, but this is a game changer if you guys are pulling in all those weird little Asian airlines that usually search aggregator tools can't do because of how they pay or how they gate stuff with a login. But yeah, that would be a game changer if you guys can have all of that in one place. So let's see what we find.
Yeah, let's give it a second to load here. It's not a fast process. These are all done live, by the way. So if it is in here, that means that it was just checked. And so what we are able to do is with Singapore, we also pull in waitlist inventory. Though I should be clear, we don't do a good job of flagging if it's waitlist or not waitlist. We say it's there, and so you do have to go in and check. I had notified my team to let's say if it's a waitlist or not a waitlist, but we do.
Yeah, that would make a huge difference because it looks like it's available on July 23rd on the Singapore Airlines website, but not available on July 24th where it's waitlist. So for this one, it's just going to show all of them. This doesn't do fuzzy search, right? Like if you're just off a day and you pick a waitlist day, it's not going to tell you like, yeah, I should check 2 days before.
No, we don't do that yet. The that functionality is coming for airlines. Our biggest we have different interests than consumer search competitors. Our interest is on the data side of things. So we care more about accuracy and coverage than we do the ability to pull in a breadth of days around a search. So that is something that we will have coming, but unfortunately, it's just not something that is permanently top of our list.
There a way if somebody's searching and they're like, I don't need all 158 flight results. I just need the ones that work for like my particular airline, or can you filter it so it shows you even fewer results but loads faster?
Unfortunately, not yet. So we it's currently it is it's an all or none thing. Though this appears to be I don't know why it's not displaying it. Oh wait, so we do have stuff in here. Okay, so I don't know why it wasn't.
Can we filter that to just show Singapore Airlines award availability so we can check?
Yeah, the Singapore Air is not in yet. So we
Oh,
have
it's still loading. Okay.
yeah, it's still loading. So right now it's Aeroplan, Alaska. Looks like there's good Qatar in Alaska. Uh,
This flag, if it's mixed cabin, Air Canada, because that's just like the most heartbreaking when I'm like, oh, it's got saver space in Air Canada. It's like 75 or 83,000 points or whatever. And then you go to Air Canada and you're like, it's 9% in business class.
that is a great question. It has lowest and flex. I don't think we delineate yet on if it is all business or not.
Would love that if it
Yeah,
would just say exclude mixed cabin because So disappointing whenever I'm searching on any site and then Air Canada, I'm like, "We found it. We found the unicorn space. This is what we've been looking for." And then it's like, "Yeah, you can sit in business class between Japan and Korea." I'm like, "That's not what I was interested in." But thank you, internet.
Yes. No, that is something that we definitely want to pass on. We do pull in all of it, so we don't just pull in if it's all business or not. That I know that's an issue with some that only do so that they don't pull in mixed inventory, but we definitely do that. Oh, this is taking forever.
Because there's a lot of flights over from JFK over to Singapore on that particular day.
Yes. So,
And we can't pre-filter on just show me Singapore Airlines flights or anything like that. It's just gonna pull in every airline. Are there a lot of airlines that get pulled in where it's a points program that most US people won't even have access to, like GOL or Azul or Australian
um,
Velocity?
for cash pricing, we pull in
For cash pricing, you can pull in everything because it's just
yeah,
a
cash pricing, we pull in everything. On the mileage side, we do pull in, and I can't leave it yet, can I? No. We pull in all the airline partners that we support. Huh, it timed out in Singapore. That's annoying. Let me try it one more time. So JFK,
JFK to Singapore on July 23rd.
Singapore, July 23rd, one passenger, business. See if it miles only speeds it up. So we pull in all partners that are part of that loyalty program. So if they are part of Aeroplan or they're part of Singapore or what have you, we pull in everything that they had that inventory for. In terms of like goal, we're not adding them as a direct supplier for quite some time. We will eventually, but you're right that the average American doesn't have a goal account and doesn't earn goal miles, so it's not something that's high on our priority list.
Yeah, because before I was seeing a lot of awards based on COBA or SAS or Virgin Velocity or something like that, and I'm like, "Good for them." Like, I don't have
Yeah.
access to.
No, we pull those in, but that's only if they are partners with a United or a Aeroplan or whoever, and you're just booking those tickets via the Aeroplan or United programs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Came through.
Oh, no. Okay, so yeah, we're seeing 111.5 thousand miles, and that is waitlist. So that was the thing that we were saying that
Yep.
it doesn't mark
And
it as waitlist yet. Why does taxes say plus $0? It's not $0.
that's probably an issue. Yeah, it's being zeroed out. That's weird.
The taxes on Singapore aren't crazy. It's not like $1,000. It's like usually a couple hundred or something. But
Yeah, so as you can see for this, we're playing both the saver and the advantage pricing.
mhm. Okay. Yeah.
And
What else? Do you have flight award alerts too, like you do on hotels?
we do not yet, unfortunately. We will in the very near future. It's something that I have personally requested my dev team to put for my honeymoon that I'm going on. I'm waiting
Congrats.
for availability to open up in December. So I've set alerts myself. Unfortunately, this is not something we offer our customers yet.
It's like
Uh,
this is just for me.
yeah, I know this is just for me.
I've heard of a lot of people developing software and products where it's like just for them. There's a whole like statusmatch.com where the exec team was like, okay, but like we need to incorporate this airline because I specifically need it for one specific family trip. And they're like, you know what, we're gonna beta test this on our executives. And if it works out, maybe it turns into a contract. But I was like, oh, is this status match like publicly available? And they're like, no, no, we're testing on me. So yeah, congrats on the honeymoon. Where are you guys going?
Thank you. We're going to Bali. So booked the whole thing. We're staying at Hyatt's the whole way, as I'm sure you can imagine. Really annoyed that a lot of the Leelas don't do suite upgrades anymore. They don't participate in that, which is quite frustrating. But we have our flight back to Singapore booked, which is nice. We're doing the Bali to Singapore, the Singapore to New York, the direct. That one's a hell of a flight in business. That's what we're showing here, actually, which is the one that you're looking for.
Yeah,
Uh,
Singapore or yeah, New York to Singapore. And the one that I'm seeing on Singapore's actual website is the 143.5 thousand because all of the saver space is unfortunately waitlisted, which I
yeah,
usually tell people don't go for waitlisted flights to be like, oh, hopefully it opens up for my honeymoon. Like, just don't do that.
no, it doesn't work. I've set it for Singapore too myself, so I have it for like a week long. time for going out. But if we one thing that we have not shown is we have a full booking flow for people to show them how to ultimately book. So we tell users that you have to log in to Singapore and then you have to run your search. Then you can say, if you have your loyalty account in there, you say that I'm using Singapore miles. Or if you don't have your Singapore miles or you don't have any in there yet, we give you the full transfer breakdown, tell you how long it takes to transfer over to Singapore and also what's in your wallet or not. If there are any
What is
transfer bonuses, you'll see them here. Sorry.
what does long transfer mean? Where they all say long transfer? That's
Um,
nerve-wracking.
So long transfer just means that it could take over 24 hours. So a lot of transfers are instantaneous. Singapore, unfortunately, is not instantaneous. It could take a few hours to a day. It varies. So we have we have fast, standard, and long. Fast means instantaneous. Standard means within 24 hours, and long means it could be over 24. So this is a source for publicly available data on people's transfers. And so when you say, hey, I'm going to transfer from American Express, it tells you how to transfer from American Express, gives you the full breakdown, and then go back to what you're looking for your flight, and then confirm booking. So this bit that's coming soon here, as we can see, if we go back, let me get out of this. No, this is completed. Now I can finally click on wallet. If we go into airlines, banks, hotels, these, as you can see right here, are manually entered by people for their balances. But there's this refresh button in the corner that doesn't do anything. Right? Why is that there? We have built, and not publicly available yet, a working version of Award Wallet. So users can sync their loyalty accounts across airlines and hotels in here. And well, obviously, with that synced, sunk, synced is the word I believe, right? It will flow through into the My Trips tab of this. So this is only for cash bookings, but when we have your loyalty wallet in there, we can see when you've booked your Singapore air flight. So that will come through. So we can keep track of all your flights for you, all in one place, both cash and loyalty bookings, and not just flights. We do it for hotels. We do it for all the different programs. Keep track of your status, the next level status, how to get there, and then that's phase one. Phase two will include all the fun stuff that expires, like your free night certificates or your upgrades or your system wide upgrades or your whatever. The list goes on. Travel credits, those are big ones. Flight coupons. We'll be able to put all that in there and tell you when it's expiring and recommend that you use it for different checkout flows.
Awesome. When can users kind of expect that stuff to roll out?
We will have a private beta of that before year end. I don't think it'll be publicly available on our platform for quite some time. The system itself is not cheap to run, so it may only be available via our partners, which people will see. Can't really talk about them right now, but they will be coming out quite soon in the next few months. But you'll be invited to the private beta, of course. That'll be available. We'll see how we can scale it. Ultimately, these things, if you can get them to scale, are quite cheap. It's just a matter of how do you get them to scale without having to eat the costs along the way. So something that we'll be working on.
For sure. For anybody who hasn't tried out a Waze yet, where is the best place that they can go to try it out? And what's kind of the difference between free version? What can they try it for free versus paid version?
Yeah, of course. So aways.com is where we are. We have a sexy new landing page if you haven't checked it out yet. But scrolling all the way through to the bottom while these things load, here is the standard pricing. Obviously, if they use your time tab from Greece, they'll get their nice discount on the annual pricing. But we do have a free version, so it's no risk. You don't input a credit card or anything like that. It's totally free. You get 5 free flight searches or 5 free hotel searches. So just lets you get a taste of what's going on. We have seen a lot of interest in our Trip Pass has been blowing up. I know people hate subscribing to things, and this is a one-time payment. There's no subscription. We don't keep your card on file or anything like that. You you pay it's pay per use, pay as you go. If you remember the phone plans back in the day,
So like
it's
$6 for 72 hours. For everybody who's listening to this on the podcast and can't see what we're sharing, go back and view this on YouTube because it's going to make so much more sense with the actual video. But yeah, you could get a 72-hour pass, no subscription, no contracts, no whatever they say on cell phone commercials, $6, or you can do this for 12.50 a month. And then Yeah, geobreezetravel.com/aways. I forgot what our pricing was. I think it was like 100 a year or something.
Yes, yeah, your pricing should be heavily discounted, so it should be about like $9 a month versus 12.50. So we're talking pretty hefty discount there for users. And then we do have a new level for anyone that is a professional. Just to be clear, we make it abundantly clear the number of searches that you get per package on a monthly basis. The reason for this is there are a few very small number of people that don't play nice and they abuse systems. So hence why we've had to put this in place. If you are professional grade and say you book professionally as a concierge service for people, we're happy to service you. Please do reach out. We do have special pricing for that. This is all personal pricing. So it's for personal use, not professional use.
Thank you so much, John, for joining us again. Very excited to try out all of the new features. I'm going to keep using all of the other features that I've been using for finding award availability on hard to book hotels and finding good like recommendations on how to maximize points for a particular city. So, thank you so much for building all of this. And I'm excited for everything that's coming because the roadmap I know is long. And every time we talk, I'm like, also, if you could build these other things, this is really why I just invite software developers onto the podcast is just be like, hey, I would like to fast track all of my requests for
Yes.
like what I need to do for travel. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No, of course. And you'll see we didn't go through it, but we do have the UP and LP upgrades and they're for Hyatt as well. So if you're looking to do that, that's in there. We have not put in your request for a threshold of some $100 in cash with that yet. That will be coming down the road.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.